everyone. We're excited to bring to you this year's International Youth Day webinar. The main theme for this year is Transforming Food Systems, Youth Innovation for Human and Planetary Health. So as part of our activities, we are going to bring to you a conversation with a young lady in urban farming here in Ghana. We are going to learn about how she's able to contribute to food security through urban farming, the innovations she's using, and the impact she's making. So we hope that you enjoy this session with us. My name is Teresa Anefi. I'm the co-founder for She Dreams Africa.
Everyone, my name is Nakwadon Renaike. I would say I'm a down to earth person, literally, because I like playing with soil and sand and everything. But I work in development corporation, and I'm an urban farmer. Right. So urban farming is basically about growing food. So it could be plants, it could be animal based, so growing food and cultivating food in urban society or urban cities and stuff like that. So basically, most of us live in the urban areas these days, and it's just a way of growing our own food and how we do it. So yeah, basically that's it. Why did I get into urban farming? So I have a passion for plants and animals, right? Growing up, we always had a pet at home, or we had some flowers at home. So I love indoor plants as well. So I have a lot in my home as well. I have indoor plants all over my room and around the house. But indoor plants, you can't basically eat them, right? So it moved from that to growing my own food and also to control the chemicals that are put in the food that we eat, right? So I wanted to learn how plants grow, how to control what is put in to actually grow organically, yes. So what I do is organic farming. And in organic farming, I do not add chemicals. There are different ways of organic farming, yes, right? To do it commercially, they add some organic chemicals to it, right? But because I'm doing this home-based distribution for family and friends, and just a few of my produce go onto the market, I do not add chemicals to what I grow. So what do I grow? What have I been able to grow over the period? Vegetables, I have lots of vegetables. I've tried different kinds of vegetables. I have kale, I have spinach, I have carrots, I've tried green pepper, I've tried cauliflower, zucchini. Yes, I've tried zucchini in Ghana as well. Um, what else? Pepper, chili pepper, tomatoes, yeah, basically a lot of things to know actually what works. Okra, I love okra, so yes, I grew okra, and yeah, it's been a rewarding experience. So for aside the veggies, I've grown legumes as well, so some beans, and the beans are the best. Like the beans are really the best, easy, fast to grow, and they add all these nutrients to the soil as well. So for everything I grow, I add beans alongside as well. And then I grow herbs, mint, rosemary, oregano, basil, yes. And I've tried rearing animals as well. So rabbits, currently I have rabbits that are doing so well. They're so cute. And some snails as well. I've tried rearing snails as well. And I would say the experience has been rewarding. The experience has been challenging. It's been a learning process for me, basically. And I didn't do this in isolation because the thing with farming is sometimes you want to give up, so you need motivation. I've done this with the help of a partner as well, And days that I don't feel like going to the farm, my partner has that energy and we do it together, right? And I've had all these encouragement from my family as well. So whatever I grow, I bring home, we eat, you give it to family and friends, aunties. They're excited. They tell other people about your produce. For instance, the herbs. We sell the herbs to people. So the sales has been actually very good, and it's so organic and fresh. Oh my God, the difference is so much when you see what is grown organic and what is grown with all these chemicals. You can tell there's a lot of difference, and it's been rewarded. Take for instance, on our farm right now, we have plantains, which my dad grew. I didn't grow the plantains. We have plantains, we have bananas, and imagine we cut the plantains when it's ripe, the spinach, or there's even contumely there, and then we cut some of that, we harvest pepper, we harvest some tomatoes, we come home, we do our bomb, meal complete, everything set, no wahala, no going to the market, there's some abeju here and then it's healthy, you know. You can actually control what you eat, you can know what goes into what you produce, and it's really fulfilling. From seed to table, it's really fulfilling, yes. So for our farm, what we basically do is, because we do not add chemicals, we've tried different things to make it as organic and also to get the plants to receive as much nutrients as possible. So what we do is our bio waste, like our leftover food, not the cooked food, the raw food. So when we peel cassava, tomatoes, when we peel fruits and all that, the skin and all that, the residue, we collect that and we turn it to compost, right? Initially, yes, it would give out this pungent smell, but when you turn it, you add dry leaves and everything. With time, about 7 weeks onwards, it becomes compost, very rich compost, and you can tell that this from your kitchen. You know, when you add it to the soil, it makes the soil so loose, it makes the soil so rich, and the plants do so well. So we do our own compost, our home-based compost. Um, what other innovative things we've done is we collect our water bottles. So all these bottles that we drink water in, we don't throw them away. The cups after parties, we don't discard those ones. We actually use them as our seed cups and our seed containers, right? And we nurse our seeds in these ones. We just create some holes in it, put some nice soil in it, put our seeds in it, and it's been wonderful. And also, we recycle our seeds as well. So if we eat tomatoes, we don't throw the seeds away. If we eat cucumbers, we collect the seeds. And these are some of the things that we've grown. For instance, most of the paprika or the bell peppers that we've grown are the ones that we've eaten and collected the seeds and recycled them. We buy seeds every now and then, but also this recycling helps to make sure that we always constantly have seeds, and it's been fulfilling, it's been very good. So we try to use old stuff. So if there's an old mark that is broken, instead of discarding it, we use it on our farm. If there's a wood stump, we just use it as a stick for maybe the spinach or something. So we're trying to use as much, reuse certain materials as much as possible, so as not to create waste in the society. And it's been very helpful, right? Some grow theirs in sachet bags as well, like they're drinking water. You just make holes in them and use them. It's just a way of recycling, and it's been very helpful. It's been very good. We grow in buckets as well. So recently we painted our place. We didn't discard the buckets. We just cleaned out all the buckets and then grew some tomatoes in it, grew some cucumbers in it. And yeah, they're doing very well. You just have to fill them with soil, make some drainage holes under, and then you're good to go. So people tell me, oh, I don't have anything to grow in. You can grow in old tires. There are days that my partner and I go to vulcanizers and then we collect old tires instead of them burning them. I know others use them for chairs and stuff, but instead of them burning the tires and creating all these pollution, we take them we stack them together and then we grow in them, and they do so well. They do so well. Our plants are doing so well. You should see our garden as well. So even aside the eatables, aside the herbs and veggies and things, we have some flowers as well. Our sunflowers are beautiful. Our hibiscus, they're just amazing. You should see them. And sometimes too, we collect wood chipping. So we are trying to use all these natural things, and these things are free. When you go to, we used to travel to a brie, and on the way back, we asked the carvers there if they could give us wood chippings. They give them to us. They decomposed because you have worms, you would have caterpillars walking through them, and then they decompose. They become part of the soil, and it makes the soil very rich. So there's so many things you could reuse. There's so many things. For instance, coconuts. Leaves, I don't know if that's what it's called. We cut those. That's what we cover our beds with, especially our nursery beds, to create shade as well. So yes, there's a lot of things you could use. The peat from coconut as well. Sometimes we grow in that, but those ones we actually have to buy. So yes. Some of the challenges that we have faced. Um, so we started this over a year ago, and some of the challenges, because it's not our field, it's more like learn as you go, right? And we've learned so much. It's actually so easy. Um, every plant is different. Some plants like more water, some don't like water, cabbages and things. So you like water. Pepper doesn't like so much water. Some are shallow plants, some are deep rooted plants. So we've learned as we go. There's a lot of research involved, and I think for most people, they're just looking at, okay, when I plant it, it should yield that, and then we move from there. But sometimes insects can evade your plants, right? There are all these white insects or aphids that can evade your plant. For us, the challenge we have in the land we're growing on, there are lots of grasshoppers, and because we've decided not to spray our land, we're sharing the produce with them. They eat small, they leave us some. They eat small, they leave us some. But you see, there's so many challenges you will face. Sometimes the end product is quite small. For instance, the paprika, sometimes we get very big ones, that's the bell peppers. And sometimes some plants don't do so well, they're quite small. Other times when you plant a pepper in a particular area, because of the direction of the sun, they do very well. Other times when you plant them somewhere else, they don't do well. Our first carrots, the challenge we had was the soil was rocky, so they were a bit stunted. They grow, you see the top part of the carrot, the leaves, and they look so good. You uproot it and it's just very small carrots that grew, because they had the challenges going through the rocks and all. But you learn as you go, and as you learn, you realize that, okay, you actually do well in this area than in that area, right? Or this plant actually likes more compost or more manure, so sometimes we add cow dung as well, which is natural. So this one needs more manure, this one needs less watering. And it's been fulfilling. Learning as you go has been quite fulfilling. There's a lot of research online, there's a lot of things you can learn online. For instance, we go around as well to collect mulch. So when people mow their grass, we take our bags, we collect it, and we use it as mulch. I mean, when you're farming, dear, you're not shy. You don't have to be shy, yo, because some of the things you don't have. So you have to ask. If you want things for free, so that you don't spend so much, you ask around. And these things, grass, they discard them. People just discard them. But when you mulch your plants with it, it retains water for them. So it's actually very good, and it decomposes after a while. So we collect these ones as well. But you learn. You learn as you go. The challenges, you don't expect that just because you grow it. Some seeds might not germinate because they're not viable. Others will germinate and over germinate, and you have no space for them. Yes, but it's been very, very good. So my advice, my advice for people that want to go into urban farming, it's interesting. It's very interesting, and you need time. Instead of doing it on a big scale, you can actually start very small, right? So try some tomatoes, try some peppers, try two or three different things, right? And see which one works for you, because it requires dedication and time as well, right? They're like babies. You need to nurture them, you need to nourish them, you need to feed them. So they need watering, they will need pruning. So they love care and attention. And plants are living things, right? So the more care and love you give to them, that's when they actually blossom and do very well. If you're a very busy person, right, you need a plant that doesn't require a lot of watering. But if you start with a plant, tomatoes that likes water, and you don't water 2 3 days, you'll come back and your tomatoes are dead. You can grow some plantains. Plantains are so good. You water them, you don't water them, they'll do well. They love water, right? When it rains consistently, your plantains will do well. But if you don't water them, they will still thrive, right? You take something like cabbage, lettuce, they like water. So if you're planting a place where you don't have water, it will be a big challenge. But you grow some cassava, you don't water them, cassava will do very well. Right, so you need to select one or two things that you have the time for, one or two things that align with your schedule as well. And watching them grow is so fulfilling. It's so fulfilling to actually harvest things and then eat your own things. And you can tell the difference. When we harvest our cucumbers, you can taste the difference. The juice is different. The firmness of the cucumber is different from what you would buy on the market. And ours last longer because there's actually no chemicals in it. So it lasts very long. You can eat it, leave it on the table without putting it in the fridge, and it will do so well, right? So urban farming is good. If you want to use chemicals, research on which ones you can use as well. We personally, we are doing the organic one, but if you want to do if you want to try other things, you want to spray, probably you're having challenges with, let's say, the grasshoppers like we do, and you don't want to feed them because they are not the ones growing it. Please try chemicals, but there are also organic ways of preventing these. For instance, if you have neem trees around, you can boil it, add a bit of garlic, and spray it on the leaves, right? They would leave. There's so many things. So research and find out what works for you, right? And if you want to go large scale farming as well, find out commercial farming is rewarding. Commercial farming is really rewarding, but you can't be an absentee farmer. If you are an absentee farmer, forget it. Then it means you're just growing for the people to enjoy. But if you want to go commercial farming, then you need to have time because it can be very rewarding as well. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you so much. It's been an honor. I appreciate this, Teresa. Thank you very much for giving me this platform. I wish you all the very best. Have a great day.
Happy International Youth Day to everyone. We at She Dreams Africa are proud to be celebrating this year's International Youth Day with you all. So this year's theme is transforming food systems, youth innovation for human and planetary health. So we are discussing how we can prioritize food sustainability and the involvement of youth in urban farming. As we are all aware, COVID has impacted negatively on our food systems. It has actually shown how fragile the food systems are. During lockdowns, we realized that there were lots of losses of food in the fields. Farmers could not transport their food to the urban areas
And where there were food even available within the urban areas, we recorded some shortages. You could see people rushing in to buy the limited food that was available. And so we had empty shelves within supermarkets and malls. So as part of the youth celebration, we look at what some young people are doing in terms of urban farming and how more young people can be involved. According to the FAO in 2020 on the state of food security and nutrition in the world, we produce enough food, but 1 in 10 people don't have sufficient food to eat. Also, 3 billion people do not have access or cannot even afford a healthy meal. At the same time, we are wasting a lot of what we produce and the natural resources that are used in producing them. That is why today we seek to delve into what our youth are doing and how we can be motivated to take part in urban farming.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. I'm excited to be a speaker for today, and we have a very interesting topic, and I'm excited to be part of it. So we're talking about transforming food systems, youth innovation for human and planetary health. So the first question is, what is food systems? So in general, I would just say that food systems encompasses the entire range of players in the food and agriculture industry and their respective activities in adding value to the food, that is in production, processing, distribution, consumption, and management of waste. So when we talk about food systems, every player on the food supply chain is involved. That is, we have the farmer has the responsibility, and then the processor has a responsibility to play. The logistic company, that's distribution, transport system, they all have their responsibility, and we as consumers also have a responsibility to play. So every human eats, so we all have responsibility to play as consumers. The question I will ask myself is that, is today's food system sustainable? So why would we transform something? We will only transform something if we know that there is a need for to improve. And in this growing population of growing global population, where food is a necessity for us to increase the quantity day in and day out, we have to have a sustainable agriculture and food system. So as a farmer, if I am a farmer, I have to buy the idea that I have a responsibility to play in producing to feed not just myself or my family, but the entire world. And we must say that I may be in Ghana, I may be in the United States, I may be in Ukraine, but why should I care about somebody in Uganda, Afghanistan, Lebanon? I have to care about everyone because we live in a global society where every country or every person needs to be fed. And then we just don't produce just for food consumption. We produce also for, money. That's for job and financial security. So if we talk about transforming the food system, we should put in mind that we have gone beyond the act of producing just to feed ourselves and our family, but we've gone ahead of thinking of how best we can feed a country, we can feed a whole society, we can feed a continent, and then we can feed the world. So as a farmer, if I keep in mind that I have that responsibility, then I will make sure that I care about my soil, that my soil has enough nutrients to support my crop, and not just put in some seeds and expect it to just start growing. I will also care about the fact that the seeds I'm buying are of good quality and they will yield well and they will give me a good harvest. And I will invest in training my workers That's my farmers, the farm workers, and then protecting them as well, because they have to also be protected from some of the chemicals that they apply. That's pesticide and then weedicides and other things that they apply. They have to be given PPEs and other things. And then I will be careful with how much fertilizer and weedicides that I use and pesticides. If I don't need it, I wouldn't use it. So I'll use things when they are needed. So that is knowing your soil, knowing what is even in your water, making sure that everything is of good quality. That is all leading to sustainability. To be able to produce every day and ensuring that as a farmer I can produce and ensure that I'm having enough food for my family, for my country, for the world, and then making money out of it to support myself and my family, and then the generation to come, and then as well as also helping protect the environment. As a processor, we also dream of adding value every day and night. And that is why the act of the act of studying the science of food is very important. So now people can just pick any food and just microwave and get on the go. So we are living in a fast-paced economy or fast-paced world whereby people have less time to even spend on cooking. So there is a need to add value, especially to preserve it. In preserving food, we are storing food for the future. And if we are storing food for the future, it means we are rest assured of a very secure food. So we are promoting food security as well. So the processing level too, we have to know that we owe ourselves and the consumer and the world as at large, every consumer in the world at large, the act of producing enough food day in and day out, and producing not just enough food but safe food. And then if you are in the transport or distribution, whether you are a retailer and or you are just normal selling at the normal market in Ghana, if maybe you are selling at Kaneshi or Kanshi, or you are selling in a supermarket like Kuala or Mazimat or any place like that, you have to ensure that the food that you take in not just come in and then get rotten. They have to be inspected. So make sure that if you're taking raw produce from the farmer, you are inspecting that damaged foods, that's damaged produce, damaged cabbage, fruit and vegetables are not accepted. And then so that they can be kept well. And then we should try and store our foods in such a way that they can last longer on the shelf. And then if it's a processed food or if there has been some value addition, we have to ensure that the product has not expired. So we check on the expiration date or the best by date. And then we make sure that we are also storing them well in order not to get them deteriorated faster. Now, as a consumer, we all have to make sure that the food we consume are safe. We are consuming what we can eat and not wasting food, because we should keep in mind that if we feed ourselves with bad food, garbage in, garbage out, we will not grow healthy. And so if you want to grow healthy, we have to improve and our knowledge on what we buy and what we take in. And in addition to that, in not wasting food, you have to also ensure that food is safe. And on top of that, if you can't eat it, don't cook too much and waste it. We have to ensure that we are preserving food. It saves us money, and it also prevents food wastage. So in a nutshell, in contributing to sustainable food system, transforming the food system, is all looking forward to making the food system sustainable. And why do we have to transform it? Is because we all owe ourselves the responsibility to have enough food every day for the future, so that the world will still exist, because a world without food is a world without tomorrow. Now, when we talk about the youth, I'm so happy that the youth of today see agriculture or the food industry as a lucrative industry. Gone were the days it was just for the aged. Now everybody is doing either a small garden or they are going into massive production. And I'm so impressed that especially in Ghana, I know of a lot of people, a lot of clients who are very young people below the age of 30, and then they are either they are in another industry, maybe in the banking sector or hospitality industry, or they are even the health industry, and they still want to go partially or full time into agriculture. And I'm so impressed and happy. So now, the fact that the youth is taking over and understanding that there is no tomorrow if there is no food. Nobody can live. We cannot live without iPhones and other types of phones, and we can live without technology and without even a little bit without water. But can we live without food? Water and food are basic necessities that we need every day. Every human being needs food to survive. We need it for our energy. So the youth of today, I'm so excited that we are not just interested in going to agriculture because we don't have jobs, not just that, but also because now we understand it. So the youth innovation for improving and transforming food system is in such a way that the youth of today understand technology. So if an old farmer who is so used to weeding with cutlasses and hoes can produce maybe or can farm a 1-acre farm for the entire year, a young farmer can do about 15 acres or more with the understanding of technology. On top of that, now we don't sit there, we have internet and technology and selling and marketing our products. So it's not like we wait for the government to have total control. I know of a lot of youth that are reaching out to foreign markets and then advertising and finding markets for their produce. So we have a future now that the youth is getting involved. And I am excited, and I hope that the youth will have more innovation in improving and transforming the food system for human and planetary health. Because we need the food to live longer. We need the food to stay healthy. In addition to that, the youth understands the fact that we are not just protecting, we go into best agricultural practices and best food safety practices or food system practices or food processing practices, not just because of the food, not because of the people, that's not because of the workers, but on top of that, it's also because of the environment. So the youth of today, we the youth are excited, and we are all focusing on agriculture and the food system and food processing, all because we just understand much more the importance of practicing the right agriculture and food processing systems in order to protect the food we eat, the people, that's the personnel that work with us, that's the workers that work with us, and then the environment. We don't have to just release toxic things into the air, onto the land, into our water bodies, and all these things end up affecting our environment and then the planet as a goal, and it turns back and affects our health. Because if we release waste things or waste activities or waste end products into the water bodies, they kill the aquaculture, they destroy the aquaculture, that's the plants and the animals that live in the water. So definitely we're going to have a problem with the food we get from the sea and the rivers and other things. And on top of that, if our air quality is not good enough, we are gradually going to have cancer one day, and people are not going to live to even continue eating. We all not live to continue producing food and other things. So we need to be concerned with be concerned of our health, and then be concerned of the health of others. If we put in that responsibility on ourselves, then we as a youth and everybody in general will put in the responsibility of transforming the food system that we all need to make the food industry, the food and agriculture industry, a better one, not for our own self and our family, but for the world at a goal. Thank you all for your time, and I'm available to answer any question in the discussion part or in the comment part. Thank you. I hope I was able to just share my view, and I hope there will be another platform to talk more about the way to transform food systems. Thank you all. Have a great day.
Thank you. Happy International Youth Day. Bye.